The clinic was quiet that afternoon, the soft hum of the air conditioning blending with the faint rustle of papers as I organized my desk, though my mind was far from work. I could feel the anticipation fluttering inside me, an almost tangible warmth that made every movement slower, more deliberate. It wasn't just any visit. He had promised to stop by, and the thought of seeing him in this professional, calm setting made my heart race in ways I couldn't contain. Then the door opened, and there he was, tall, handsome, and impossibly magnetic, his presence filling the room instantly. His smile was quiet, teasing, and as soon as his eyes found mine, I felt a familiar shiver of excitement ripple through me. He had that look, the one that told me he had something special planned, that this visit wasn't just casual, that he wanted to see me, really see me, and I wanted him to. I walked toward him, my heels clicking softly on the polished floor, each step feeling heavier with anticipation, and he held out his hand, but instead of taking it, I let myself brush past him, pressing close for a fleeting moment, just enough to feel his warmth and the brush of his arm against mine. His laugh was low, intimate, as if he knew exactly what he had just done to me, and I couldn't help but grin, my pulse quickening. He leaned slightly on the counter, eyes roaming over me with that quiet intensity that always left me breathless, and I felt myself lean a little closer, drawn to him in ways words could never describe. We talked, but the conversation was secondary to the electricity between us, the subtle touches, the fleeting glances, the way our bodies seemed to gravitate toward each other naturally. At one point, he reached for a pen, his hand brushing mine, lingering just a little longer than necessary, and I felt my stomach twist with longing. The office, the desks, the faint smell of antiseptic, it all faded into the background as if the world itself was giving us this private bubble, these stolen moments, just for the two of us. His voice dropped when he spoke, low and warm, the sound of it sending shivers down my spine, and I found myself leaning toward him without realizing it, my head tilting as I searched for the right words, though none seemed adequate to express what I felt. He smiled knowingly, stepping closer, and suddenly the distance between us felt impossible to maintain. I could feel his chest near mine, the subtle heat radiating from him, the faint scent of his cologne wrapping around me like a secret. My fingers brushed his arm, and I swear that small touch carried the weight of all the longing we had been holding back. His lips curved into a soft, teasing smile, and I caught my breath as he whispered something playful, something that made my heart leap, something that made the air between us thrum with desire and anticipation. We moved together through the small clinic space almost unconsciously, shifting from desk to couch, from bright window light to soft shadows, the subtle movement of our bodies speaking louder than words. His hand brushed my back, guiding me gently, almost protectively, though the tension in the air was undeniable, charged with every glance, every exhale, every beat of our hearts. I leaned against the counter briefly, our foreheads touching, breaths mingling, and it felt as though time itself had slowed down, giving us the luxury of these private, intimate moments. I laughed softly when he teased me about some minor thing, my meticulousness, my focus, but the laughter faded quickly as he leaned closer, pressing his hand lightly against mine, holding it just long enough to make the skin on my arms tingle. My pulse raced, my chest tightened, and I realized how much I had missed this, how much I had missed him, and how deeply I wanted to just let go of the careful restraint I had been holding on to. Our conversation became whispers, soft and intimate, words barely audible, because everything else, the office, the quiet hum of work, even the world outside, had melted away into nothing but us. He brushed a stray strand of hair from my face, and I felt my knees weaken, the intensity of his gaze burning into me, grounding me while simultaneously making me feel light, unsteady, alive. I reached up, my fingers brushing his jaw, and he leaned into my touch, closing his eyes for a fleeting second before opening them and giving me that look that made me want to melt entirely into his embrace. We laughed softly at our own daring, the thrill of stolen moments in a place where we were supposed to be professional, but neither of us could resist the pull, the magnetic attraction that had been building between us for so long. The hours passed unnoticed, marked only by the way we leaned closer, whispered secrets, and shared small, intimate gestures that spoke volumes. Every brush of his hand, every soft glance, every gentle laugh added layers to the unspoken connection, a bond that felt as deep and powerful as anything I had experienced before. And when he finally leaned down to rest his forehead against mine, his warm breath mixing with mine, I felt the culmination of every desire, every longing, every quiet moment we had been holding back. In that office, amidst the mundane routine of work, we had carved out a universe of our own, a secret space where passion, intimacy, and romance could flourish without limits. By the time he stood to leave, the lingering touches and shared glances had left both of us trembling with emotion, hearts beating faster, minds full of the memory of every second together. I watched him go, a small, satisfied smile on his face, and I knew that those hours weren't just a visit. They were a reaffirmation of what we shared, proof of a bond that was too strong to ignore, a love too deep to be contained by walls or rules. And as I returned to my desk, the quiet of the clinic felt different, charged with the memory of him, with the intensity of what had passed, and with the undeniable certainty that this secret romantic visit had changed everything between us forever.